Well, I would love to. We might have to weed out a specific belief because I'm kind of all over the place right now. But the biggest thing is I am furious um, at, I'm just gonna say Trump, for the immigration stuff and separating families again. It's everywhere in my town in Phoenix, Arizona. It's everywhere and it's devastating. And yeah, that's
Okay.
where I'm at.
Okay. So, yeah, how would you phrase this? Like you said, for the immigration stuff, like what is the stressful thought per se?
Let's see. It just seems willy nilly. It seems unfair. It seems like he's being grandiose and trying to make a name for himself, but he is destroying children's lives um, for what seems like personal gain. Because everything I'm hearing, which doesn't mean that it's right or true, is that it's a horrible idea for all kinds of reasons. But I come from it from the psychological and the kids, and it's even hard for me to think about it because I get so upset. So,
Okay. Yeah. So he's just destroying children's lives. Is that kind of
yeah, okay, that's a good one.
that I heard it from you?
Yep, that's a good one. That's true with a capital T. He's destroying
Okay. So
kids'
that's what we're
lives.
doing is we're looking for, you found the kind of stressful situation here. It's a little bit general, but it's not I think you know what you're talking about. And the feeling is the thought is connected to that is this thought he's destroying children's lives. So let's look at that thought and explore just to see if there's another way of experiencing this situation that's less stressful.
Okay.
So, first question, is it true he's destroying children's lives?
Yep.
Okay. And so can you absolutely know it's true that he's destroying children's lives?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay. So how do you react? What happens when you have this thought and you see the immigration stuff going on and yeah, what happens to you when you think he's destroying children's lives with this?
I it stops me from concentrating and focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing. My face gets red. I'm not a violent person, but all of a sudden I want to, be protected, and I want to punch him in the throat. And I it aches. I ache for the visual of kids being separated and torn apart from their parents, and the crying and pleading and just the senseless traumatization that's going on with the kids. I get very angry. I I can't think straight. I wish somebody or something could stop him and pound some sense into him and explain how trauma works. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you feel it in your body when you have this idea he's destroying children's lives?
My face gets hot. I get this lump in my throat. My fists clench. My teeth clench. It's pure disgust. There's no I'm separated from myself. There's no self. There's no love, there's no compassion, there's no curiosity, there's none of the good stuff. It's all being I don't even know, either blocked or hidden, or I just don't have any access to my normal or true self. If that,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's
This
completely
is
hidden. And I also noticed that I'm eating a lot. Like I was just eating before I even when I got here, just like as much as I can, like, give it to me. So not cookies, but
yeah. So
eating a
this
lot.
is reaction, right? Like you have the
Yeah.
thought he's destroying children's lives, and then these reactions start happening. You want to punch him in the throat. You feel like disgust. All the good qualities just evaporate within you. Like it's amazing much how much happens there when this thought is introduced. Um, and one more thing, like, do you see any images from long ago, like in your past, when you think he or someone is destroying children's lives?
Well, truth be told, a lot of these images, even though it's happening again and now, a lot of the images are from the last time he did this, and the kids in the camps and the daycare centers or whatever. So yes, there are a lot of images, um, repeat images, I guess I could say, from before.
Hmm.
But but as soon as you said that, I got a little tingle in my nose because I'm sure it goes back farther than that. And as soon as you said that, there was a little fear in me like, "Oh, wait. I don't wanna go there."
Yeah.
Can't we just stay here hating him?
Right. Right.
So there might be something there. No, I'm sure there's something there, but hmm. Mm.
Yeah. Even just the possibility of something there, or that little tingle in the nose, like that, that itself is interesting. And, and, you know, you can take a second, or you can also kind of have that as an open question moving forward after we talk here. But let's just take a second anyway. Like, is there anything you notice, any images from your past where you think someone's destroying children's lives, kids being separated, anything like that?
Ooh. So it's the images that are coming up are not necessarily where somebody tore a child apart from their parents, but that the child, namingly me, was alone and neglected and having to fend for themselves, for myself. Um, and where my mind goes is just, a lifetime of trying to be enough and be noticed and be loved and um so interesting.
Mm, yeah. So we start with the current situation, then we see there's something from, you know, 8 years ago or whenever the first uh, Trump administration was. And then there's even things back further, which is more personal and possibly connected, right? We don't have to analyze it thoroughly, but just seeing that there's a lot going on here. It's not just the immediate situation that comes up. And the context that we're looking at this in is reaction. Like the thought is, he's destroying children's lives. How do I react? Like there's all this emotional reaction and strong reaction. And some of that may be fueled by some images that also are there. Like those images also come out of that.
Yeah.
So
That's fascinating. I did not and have not ever connected those before.
yeah.
As much as I've thought about it and as much as I've lamented over it and have been angered by it, I never I all the only images that I saw were the ones from before when he did this. They never went further back than that. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, our stress is very personal in a lot of ways, and so it makes sense. So let's play with the kind of hypothetically going to the next question. Who would you be without the thought when you see the immigration stuff going on, and who would you be without the thought that he's destroying children's lives?
I feel curious. Where is this going? What is this gonna do? What is this for? But curious in a little bit of a softer, not quite there's still some judgment in there, but not quite as bad. I'm noticing.
Yeah, and this without the thought doesn't mean just put your head in the sand and pretend nothing's happening kind of thing. It means who would you be objectively looking at the situation without the emotional story running at the same time that amps it up of he's destroying children's lives?
I see more some more curiosity. I see God, I don't even want to say this, but I almost feel sorry for him. I don't even like saying that. I can feel boy, there's a real inner battle going on right now because I feel where he's in way over his head. That's my story. And he's got to do something right or, whatever. He's got to do something about the things he said he was going to fix. And I don't uh who am I without the thought? I feel like he's trying to fix things. I don't think I would go as far as to say I have compassion, but I have more curiosity. I feel more willing to listen.
Mhm.
or watch, listen, what whatever. Like maybe be involved in the conversation
Mhm.
instead of just over here in the corner going, "Oh, we just want you to disappear."
Yeah, that's really clear. Like, that shows you the effect of this thought. With the thought, you're in the corner, like in the fetal position, right? And of no use to anyone. Without the thought, there's more tolerance to be able to at least listen or see or hear what's going on and think logically and practically about, do I have any role in that or not, or what is the, yeah, like, it's it's less frozen in fear.
I actually have the opposite. I actually feel like, "What can I do?" Like, "Is there something I can do for the shelters? Is there something I can do?" I happen to speak Spanish, so, I mean, I could, help somehow go down if that's even a thing
Right,
for some people.
right.
So,
That's the difference. This is shows you. This is, I mean, I'm always amazed to see this, how a thought can make such a difference, because all we've done so far is compare with a thought and without the thought that he's destroying children's lives. And what I've heard is that with the thought, it's a total paralysis in a way and a meltdown. And without the thought, there's like a there's actually the possibility of doing something or exploring what I could do. There's more tolerance for the news itself, all of that. So
yeah,
that's the effect of the thought.
yeah.
So, how would you turn this thought around just to look for opposites and see if they could be as true or truer for balance? He's destroying children's lives.
Mm, let's see. He's not destroying children's lives?
Okay, so this is just a what I call a technical turnaround, and we have to look at it and see, can you make any sense of it? Is it possible there's an alternative thing happening here or something I'm missing or another way of looking at it? And is there any evidence to balance out the idea, the original idea that he is destroying children's lives?
I mean, one might be able to say that that's not his main purpose is to destroy children's lives. So he may not be setting out to destroy children's lives. That I could say.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's being very fair. Because we use these lines, right? He's destroying children's lives. We use these in politics all the time. Like, they did this and they did that, like as if that was their primary motive in doing something. And we
Mhm,
frame them for doing something terrible.
mhm.
And from this point of view, that may not have been what he was planning to do. Like, I'm running on destroying children's lives. It's like, probably not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Any other ways you could balance this idea? Instead of he's destroying children's lives, he's not.
Well, I guess he's not destroying all children's lives, just immigrants.
Yeah.
Well,
So, you have to sit with, does that example land? Is it enough? Does it satisfy or not?
well,
And and it can be helpful depending on how you use it.
mhm.
I mean, what I'm hearing
He's
is could be worse.
yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I've got a great imagination, and where my mind goes is he's traumatizing these kids, then they're gonna grow up traumatized, and they're gonna destroy other people's lives because they have all this to figure out, and so I feel like it's a big, huge chain reaction anyway, so it is a little bit of a stretch for me. He's not destroying all children's lives, but it is something. It's one of those little tiny fractures, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So keep it in perspective that not every example you find is going to just necessarily
Yeah,
destroy that belief.
yeah,
And it
correct.
doesn't necessarily have to be destroyed in this process. It's more like all the weight in the mind was on one side of the scale, and there was just so much weight. He's destroying children's lives. He's destroying children's lives, and it just keeps building, and all the evidence you just keep gathering. And what we're doing is just saying, hey, could there be anything on the other side? Even if a little something comes in there, it might balance it so that there's a more balanced perspective. Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's play with another turnaround. He's
Okay.
destroying children's lives. What's another way of turning it around?
And I actually wonder if I should be saying he's destroying immigrant children's lives, because
That's
that's
what
really
you
what I'm
meant. That's what you really
that's what
meant,
I
right?
meant,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so, with that in mind, immigrant children are destroying his life.
Okay. It's fair. Any truth in that, or any possibility of truth in that?
Well, I know he doesn't like them,
Uh-huh.
so having them around is probably making him crazy. I don't know. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just what that's the garbage that comes out of his mouth. Oops, I didn't say that out loud. You do edit these, right?
I do
It's
not. Nope, this is live.
oh my god.
Yeah. So
I did
he's
I did not know that. I did not know that. Okay. Alright, let's see. I need my little glasses with my mustache on it now.
and always, if there is a session that you just don't want to have out there, we don't
Yeah,
have to put it out there, so it's fine.
okay. Alright,
So
well, I'm just a little yeah. Okay, let's get back to work here. Um, because I could go on.
yeah.
Um,
So the
okay, so the,
turnaround
uh
is
the turnaround is, the immigrant childrens are destroying his life.
yeah, look at it from that perspective.
Immigrant children are destroying his life. Hmm. I mean, I actually I mean, sitting here thinking about it, it's not about the children at all. It's about the parents who decided to come here without the proper documentation, and he's trying to make that right, and unfortunately there are children involved. So the immigrant children are kind of um getting in the way of him cleaning up what he
Mm,
thinks he needs to clean up with the
mhm.
adults that came over. So especially with the images online, of kids being ripped away from their parents and screaming and crying, those immigrant kids are ruining Trump's life because it's a bad image. Like, I'm sure he doesn't want that image to be a monster.
Really good point. Yeah. So the nice thing about this turnaround is it brings in a little bit of balance, because in the beginning you're thinking he's destroying children's lives. It's like he's the perpetrator, I'm the victim, or we're the victim or something. And then it's this victim mentality. But here it's like, wait a minute, he could be victim in this from another point of view just as well. And it just helps to balance the story. That's
Yeah.
all we're doing.
That is hard to swallow, to have him be a victim. But I feel like that one might be a little too far. I don't know.
Yeah. So we're looking for what makes sense to you. That's all. This is your work. So let's look at another turnaround. He's destroying children's lives.
He's destroying his own life.
Okay. What do you see
That
there?
one feels really good.
So we're
He's
looking for
yeah,
balance. What do you see?
that one just made, can I have something?
Not in this
Um,
work.
um, he's destroying his life. He's destroying his life regarding the immigrant children. Let's see. Hmm. I don't know if I'm justifying now, but he's definitely destroying his likability with half the United States. Um, so his, let's see. He's destroying his life. So with these decisions that he's making about the immigration, the people that don't agree with him are going to be more grounded in that belief, and he's destroying any possibility of whatever it is he wanted from them, if he wanted anything from them.
Yeah,
I don't know. A
yeah.
second term, a third term.
Right, right. Okay, how about turning around to yourself? He's destroying children's lives. Instead of
Oh,
children's lives, put yourself on it.
he's destroying my life?
No, put yourself on all of it.
Dang it. Um, I'm destroying children's lives. Oh god.
I'm destroying my life. Is
Oh, I'm destroying my life? Oh, I am destroying my life by sitting here thinking about him and just like I said before, in the corner going, "You better not come anywhere," that's really defensive and just thinking about that, and I think I need to go see a dentist because my teeth are clenched so much all the time right now. So yeah, definitely I'm destroying my life. I get the point. I'm destroying my life thinking about him destroying the children.
yeah.
I'm stuck in my ooh, just hearing me say I'm stuck makes me feel like a victim. And I don't want to be a victim. Um, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to act like one. I don't want to talk like one. I don't want to be a victim. So me sticking myself, being stuck, um, thinking about what he's doing and what he's not doing and how he's doing it wrong and everything else is victim.
Mhm.
Is very victim.
And that's
Even
how
even wanting to protect myself and my mom right now is a which I've never in my life, and I'm 58 years old, so never in my life have I ever wanted anything remotely to do with violence or guns or anything like that, and like I'm investigating that, and I don't like that feeling at all.
yeah.
Victimhood.
So this is how you're destroying your life
Yeah.
by
Peace.
by focusing on this idea that he's destroying children's lives. It's like it keeps it fueled up for you, and then you end up destroying your life, your peace, your peace of mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the cost, and it's really good to see because if you're the one destroying your life rather than him destroying your life or others' lives, if the focus is there, then it's more of an empowering place to be. Like, oh, if I'm destroying my life, I can stop doing that possibly as well, depending on where I focus.
Yes. Where I focus. Good.
Yeah.
Is there another turnaround that you saw?
Um. Well, I think you did point to it there just for a second, and then I was already going in another direction. But I'm destroying children's lives. Like that's also a turnaround. Like it might be in your mind. but how are you destroying these immigrant children's lives in your mind?
Just this makes me sad. Um,
I mean, don't you see them already destroyed, those lives?
um, I am not, doing anything to help.
Okay.
So, I'm destroying immigrant children's lives knowing that they're going to be in these situations, these detention centers or whatever, wherever, whatever, down at the border. Now, it's not very close to here, um, but I'm sure there's something I can do with my bilingualness and I don't know, my time. There's something I can do,
Okay. Yeah.
and at the moment, I'm not doing that, so I'm destroying their lives because I'm not helping. I'm not helping. I'm not helping. I'm not doing anything.
Okay. So, fair point. And that gives options for what you could explore to help if you feel moved to. Yeah. And, you know, you were saying earlier, like you were seeing them ripped from their parents and you're seeing them, like basically the repercussions of it going on to the next generation and all of that. Like, this is what the mind does. And it's like painting a picture of destruction, right? Like, so this turnaround also works from that point of view. I'm destroying children's lives. Like, I'm seeing destruction there. Whereas,
I'm creating it in my mind.
that's right.
It up. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't even they haven't aged a day yet, and I see them, with Uzis in crowds and whatever
exactly.
as adults. Yeah, good
Yeah,
one. Yeah, I'm destroying their lives in my mind. Like it's done. Like you can't go back. Like you can't fix this
right.
in my
Right.
mind. Yeah. Wow.
Which kind of points back to the first turnaround of like, he's not destroying children's lives. Like, we don't know. Like, what there might be some real destruction happening, and that you never know exactly what's
Yeah.
the what's the final repercussions of the situation. And even though it may point towards destruction and it may be true, in the end, just having that possibility that we
Yeah.
don't know leaves me in a much more present place of mind rather than the imagined destruction and then the reaction that I have to have in seeing those imagined images.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for the work. Thank you for doing it in a public forum like this, and thank you for being courageous enough to look at these thoughts. This is work that is important in our times, to see if there's other ways of seeing what we're experiencing, and on both sides of the uh, political situation, there's emotion that gets built up. There's victimhood that gets experienced, and there's all kinds of stressful uh, stories that we live with. And so, on either side of that divide, to have the courage to, first of all, name what it is that I'm thinking, and have the courage to actually go through and question it and consider the opposite. I mean, we're talking like that's sacrilege from a certain point of view, and so it takes a certain amount of openness, which I'm so grateful that you were willing to explore in this way. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. you for giving me the platform to do it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's important. And I do feel a little bit of a shift, if nothing else, putting power back into my hands and my control to do something. And do what I can. Like I'm
Right.
not gonna change any trajectory of other people, but I can do something, and that's really, 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 really so important to see, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah. Like, if I try to control someone else that I can't control, I
Yeah,
will absolutely become I will feel like a victim, I'll feel powerless and and frustration and everything you just described. Um,
useless because of
what
that,
what was the word?
and useless, like,
Useless. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not doing anything about it.
And so what the
So,
work does is it just brings us back to ourself. What is it that I is under my control? Where is my business again? What can I do? And that makes all the difference in the feeling of empowerment versus disempowerment. So,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's crazy because you know me, I've been studying this for a long time, and like I know that I can't control other people, but without the work, you kind of forget and
yeah,
you get mad if you can't control somebody else, and
that's right.
it's crazy.
It's visceral. It comes from from a strong emotion, and so you can understand it intellectually, and then all that goes out the window in the moment of when you start seeing the images and start believing the thought he's destroying
Right.
children's lives. It all just comes out. And so what I love about the work is that it's a way of slowing that down and letting that emotional part find the answers. So when even though you've been doing the work for years, you're so familiar with it, you were answering from trying to find answers from a place within, and it was like sometimes there's just no answers because
All
the
the doors are
mind,
shut.
the doors are shut, right? Exactly. So this is that's why I mean it's courageous work, because you're knocking on a door that you've been trying to keep shut for a long
Yeah,
time, and
true.
you're scared of what might come out of that, and so that's real courage, and that's what this work invites. The beauty of it is if when you do, you start to get little chinks in that armor. It starts to loosen a little bit, and a lot of loosening can happen. And it doesn't mean you flip to the other side. It means that you come out in a more balanced state gradually, so that at least you're not stressed about it. And you may start being more objective about what I can do, what the limitations are. And it's just, yeah, just more healthy.
Yeah.
So you're doing the work for all of us. So thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Wendy.
I have noticed that the more I do the work on a particular subject, especially, even if I don't like something or I disagree with it, I don't feel threatened by it anymore. It's almost like I give the other permission to have their perspective. And even in this case, I had some pretty bad months. I'm sure it felt like months, but days, in dealing with some of the same issues, the same concerns about these issues. And I just kept doing the work and doing it and doing it and doing it. And then I finally found myself in it. I said, it's like I take a specific criticism and then I see where I'm doing it, right? That turnaround. And it floored me a couple times that I was able to find myself in Trump,
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah. That's
oh,
an open mind.
wow. And it really did not make it created something more realistic in how I'm responding to it versus the victim mentality and the desire to attack and the exhaustion that it was giving me. So
Yeah.
and I'm just so appreciative of what you just did with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. So it's about yeah, the willingness to look at our own judgments of other people, and as you say, find myself in those judgments, and like it starts to ease the more I do that. And it's a process, right? It's a process. And we have so much social support on either side, whether it's Republican or Democrat, whatever side, there's all this support. We're all like an army fighting each other. And so if you look around within your own camp, then it seems like you're being a traitor to question your own thoughts like this. But that's you're being a traitor to judgment, you're being a traitor to stress, and that's not a bad thing at all. The ironic thing is when we transcend this kind of stressful thinking on either side, there's all those human good qualities start to come out, and clarity comes out, and ways of solving problems come out, and that's that's the side benefit of a clear mind, one that isn't just locked into hate or judgment against anyone, either side.
That, like, I hate that he hates.
Right. It's like starting to sound like a family feud, like he did it first, and then it just goes round and round and round. I hate them for hating me, for hating them, for hating me. And just so we can break this cycle, but it does take courage, and it takes work, because the mind and the heart are so closed on these issues. And you could easily sit and do the same work with someone who is seeing the world just the opposite, and they're seeing something that is threatening their sacred beliefs. And so we're all in this together. We're all human beings. And if we're caught up in this war, this kind of psychological war that's going on, then one of the best contributions we can do is to question our stories and see if we can at least free ourselves from that and create more space in this world.
Someone's got to hold a
So
place for everyone to come to when it's time for peace.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. The more you do your work, the more you'll be that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.